There are a total of 7 players whose contract with Kaizer Chiefs is coming to an end at the end of the season. What am I even saying? But I think 6 of them are going to be leaving the club, and there is evidence to support what I'm backing. Disclaimer, full disclaimer, this is not a report. This is not me saying this is going to happen. This is based on observation on what's happening. And on top of that, we are talking about what we're seeing with their contracts and what we're seeing the club and how the club is actually treating them. And I would like to say hello and welcome. We're going to talk about these players. Hello, welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo. I am your host. And this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club. I'll be engaging with you. And I want to hear you guys what you think as we go on with the video. And the first and obvious player that everyone knows his contract is coming to an end is Itumeleng Khune. And it's no surprise that Chiefs might end up letting go of Khune. Not because he drank and he got suspended. No, not that. That's not the reason. Because Vele, we've been talking about this for the longest of times, Uguti. You can get so much out of Khune as a player because at this point, we should just be using him as a goalkeeper coach. I mean, he's been a Chiefs, understands the pressure, understands everything. So I don't think that actually letting go of him is that much of a big deal. In any case, it's actually a good thing because that means we're adding someone who's actually done it, who we know is very good at doing these things. And one of the things that I think Chiefs will benefit with if they let Khune go to the coaching position as a goalkeeper coach is the fact that one of the things that he's so good at that other keepers have not done over the years is his distribution. And I know, Ugut, it's like I'm limiting Khune to just distribution. But that's one thing that I feel like our keepers have struggled with. Because you look at Peterson, shot stopping, very good, and then silly mistakes. You look at Vuma, shot stopping, very good. Problem is when we have to go forward and then they can't make an accurate pass and sometimes they just kick the ball carelessly. And in good teams, you look at Man City, you look at how Liverpool beat Man United when they won the league. You look at how Liverpool, how Alisson passed the ball to Salah turned to Cancelo, and in the other case it was Daniel James. It was from the goalkeeper to the forward and then we were scoring a goal. And Khune can share his knowledge with the current keepers that we have. So losing Khune as a player is not really a big deal for me because I know that he will still be in the club in some capacity. So I do think that Khune, his time has come to an end. The second player whose contract is coming to an end this June is Edmilson Dove. And Edmilson Dove, and situation here, people will say, Ampilo, you're talking nonsense now. This man that you are talking about here is starting every game since Utitloko is not there. And I will say, yes, I understand he's starting every game. But if and when Utitloko comes back, who's going to start at that position? It's going to be Dove. And the fact that the Chiefs have waited this long to give him a contract is making me feel, are they serious? But at the same time, they did this with Utlante last year. They chilled and didn't give him a contract until it was June, July, and then they renewed his contract. So there could still be something. But if I look at Dove, I think he's one of the top earners. Maybe not the top of the top, maybe, but he's getting a decent salary. So I look at his position. The right side of the center backs, you have, who's this guy? You have Ungobo, Msimango, you have Vukunika, they love Vukunika. So right-footed center backs, we have 2. And then you can add Masas Etanjama center backs in general. You have Uluk Flus and you have the other boy that they're trying to bring up from development, which is Aiden McCarthy. So basically, Msimango, Kunika, Aiden McCarthy, and Ditlokwe, and Luke Flus. So you have 5 defenders. You can like mix and match in those defenders. So I'm not even counting Unjablo Ngobo because we're going to talk about him as well. So I think Udove, then when people will say, but you can play him as a left back. But whenever Udove has played as a left back, it hasn't ended well for him. We've seen him coming out in a stretcher, and that means you cannot really say Udove is going to be fully fit. Am I saying they should release him? No. But I'm saying based on what is there, what is available, I wouldn't be surprised if Udove is also one of those. But if I'm being honest, I will tell you this. I think there's a better chance of Dove staying compared to Unjabulo Ngcobo staying. Because we're talking about Udove who got a red card against Swallows, yeah? So Udove gets a yellow card, a red card against Swallows, and then is obviously not available for the Arrows game. And guess who plays? Unjabulo Ngcobo. But then in a derby, who plays? Kunika plays at centre back. So Ngcobo by now, he knows and he can see clearly Uguti at Kaizer Chiefs is not one of the highly rated players. As such, he would be looking obviously to move away from Chiefs. But we know that leaving Chiefs or staying at Chiefs is not just about game time. It's also about the other things like finances, because the thing that was said by Evanga and the things that we hear about Tabo Pirates and other teams everywhere is the fact that other teams will offer money to players, but not as much as the money that Chiefs is offering. So because of that, I understand. At the end of the day, you have a team that's paying you, let's say 100,000. You are 28 and you are looking at this and you're like, if they offer me a contract, an extension, maybe they will bump it up to 110,000, or maybe you're at 80, they're taking you 200,000. You're like, that's good enough to support my family for the next 3 years, and I can save up this money. And the next thing you know, I will be able to start a business, whatever. Think beyond football. Because if I leave Kaizer Chiefs and go play for, let's say, Amazulu, TS Galaxy, whoever, with all due respect to those teams, no team pays as much as Kaizer Chiefs. And I'm not saying this to banter and say other teams are trash or something like that, but it's just a reality. Even Orlando Pirates doesn't pay as much. I was just saying what I was saying about Evanga. Uguti says that Chiefs said they were going to change their deal and they were offering him a less salary. But even a less salary that was offered by Chiefs was still more than what Pirates and Amazulu were offering. So that just goes to tell you, Uguti, Chiefs really pays way more than other teams are paying. So I do think that Ngcobo might make a decision if they offer him a new contract, not just based on how much game time he's getting, but also based on the fact that this is financially and he has to make money at the end of the day. So let me read your comments, because I can see there are now some comments that are there. And the first one, who played is saying, "Ongapheli kuyahlola bahambe vele abenzi lutho." Who are you referring to? Everyone. K-News 247 podcast is saying, Dove plays well as a center back, but other guys will remain as ice boys. That is true. That's what I was saying, Guti. Vele at the end of the day, if you look at Dove, it even seems like his best position is him playing as a center back, because at left back, he doesn't do anything. He gets injured. Not doesn't do anything necessarily, but he is better now as a center back, which is to a surprise of a lot of people. Because Nami, when they started playing him as a center back last year, I was like, oh, what is going on here as one? But now you see that all these other coaches are also playing him as a center back. Upilionese is saying, now I do not understand. I thought the new coach will be the one to release and buy new players. Chiefs must not do the mistake again. Now we change a new way of doing things professionally. Here's the thing, man. Chiefs, I remember when those players were released before Zwane was appointed, a lot of people started blaming Uzwane and said he's the one who released the players. But it wasn't. It wasn't, because the coaches at Chiefs, they have a role, they do certain things, but other things are just up to the management. I remember Castro clearly saying that Uzwane wanted some of the players to stay, and some of the players would be him, because if you think about it, Castro was a striker, and the Kaizer Chiefs in the season that Zwane started coaching, they didn't have a striker. They ended up going to buy who? Ukele Pimenyimana. So if they had kept Castro, for example, then there was no need to buy Ukele Pimenyimana. But the decision was not resting on Zwane. It was resting on management. Uguti, they wanted to get rid of those guys, not only because maybe Castro, they had other problems like injuries, but on top of injuries, they were also on very high salaries. So they did not see them as worth it to a point, I do understand it, but to a certain extent as well, you are thinking, Guti, if you are going to just release all the strikers without signing another striker, then that does not make any sense whatsoever. Another comment is coming from Usandeles Kubu, who's saying, mass exodus every season. Another reason we're not getting anywhere. They should just release Gonzalez, Khune, and maybe Dove to create a foreign sports. Then release Matibe, Malulega, get Abantaba serious. You know what? I agree with you, Uguti. It's not a good look on Kaizer Chiefs. Uguti, that season we released Abo Parker, Nukovic, Castro, Abo Cardoso, and a lot of them. And then this past season, we also released a few players, right? So Tina, every season, if we're just releasing 8 or 5, even 5 players is a lot of players to release each season. We are releasing Tina every season, not calling it releasing, it's not renewing the contract, but it's perceived as releasing players. So if Tina every season Chiefs is known for releasing players, then that's not a good look on the club now, is it? So I do think that you are making sense, Uguti. It doesn't look professional or good on anyone. By the way, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we are going to talk about Gonzalez, but Ega Matibe no Malulek. Yabo Ega Matibe, I already sort of addressed it to Uguti. Ukune, if he goes to that position, I don't think they will fire Umatibe still. I think Umatibe will still stick around. I think the only difference that we'll have is that now it would be Khune and Matibe. That would be the what's the word? That would be the goalkeeper department coach. So Ukune would be like, yeah, he's still learning from Abo Matibe and whatnot because they do those things. So Ega Malulega naye i-contract yakhe yaqala nozwane, so he would be entering his last year starting July. So if they want to release him for whatever reason, then I'm not going to complain. But at the same time, I feel like we will release him and it might not make that much of a difference because I think Chiefs' problems are bigger than just fitness. There are times, a lot of times, where I watch our team and I question desire because our players are not doing the things. I just want to hide this tab because it's disturbing me. I'm looking at myself in that screen there. Anyways, so that's the thing. And then and another thing that you are mentioning when focus Kubu is the fact that releasing Udove, the other advantage, well, whatever you call it or however you call it, is the fact that by releasing Udove, you're also opening a foreign sport, and we know we probably need to go out. We might have a good chance in going out and finding someone from another country to kind of strengthen the squad, because you look around in SA and you say, what positions do we lack in? And you say we need a striker. In South Africa, you look at all the strikers that are there and you're like, ish, the only one that is on fire right now, he's 36 million. And by the end of the season, he will probably be 45 million because he's continuing to score goals. So then your next option is, we probably just need to go outside the country to get a striker. So you see, Uguti releasing a foreigner, which we're going to talk about another foreigner later, might not be a bad idea. K-News 2247 podcast is saying, you have a point on Jabulo Ngobo. He can stay for money, but most clubs want him, so he can't stay clubless. He's a good player, to be honest. Yeah, in the Abisek, if Chiefs doesn't renew his contract, Vel is going to find a club very quick. But if he does get a contract offer from Chiefs, he's going to stay. That I can guarantee. The only problem is, will Chiefs offer him the same salary that he's on right now? Because if they reduce his wage, then he's not staying. But if they offer him the same or more than what he's earning, then he's staying, even if he's sitting on the bench. Because we have Abono Ngobo, even if you check these videos after games, you can see Guti, he's communicating with Ukunik about how he played. So you can still see good no Lomchitalo inhliziyo yakhe and his heart is there at Chiefs to a certain extent. Next up is a comment from Unondomiso Nondomiso Zama Dlamini, who says, can Matibe please leave? ufunani kodwa koMathibe ukhona ufundani. I get you, but you know ukuthi we said this before ukuthi at Chiefs it's not just about who's actually better, but it's also about ukuthi Mathibe has been in the club for a long time. We can't just release him. If we release him, we're releasing him for who? Yabo. So there is a family dynamic going on. And when Bobby says family business, Tina, we just think he's just talking about them Taungs, but he's also talking about Chomababo, who are there, which you can't just throw out family like that. Opilion is saying, bro, yeah, this is good. Myself, I was suggesting that before we decide anything, what about the last game given to these young kids? Maybe to put him Simango, Jabulo, Solomons, Mteto, and Castillo, and all the kids. Yabona inkinga isekutheni before I talk about the next player. The biggest problem with the Chiefs right now, or one of the biggest problems, because we have a lot of those, is the fact that in their heads they still want to give it their all and finish second. Because if we're being honest, you look at the log table, you look at the log table and it does not speak gloom or scream gloom. Because you look at us, here we are, 20 games played, 29 points. You look at the team that is third, 33 points, and they've played 20 games. So we're literally 4 points away from SuperSport, and we're still going to play against SuperSport. So we can beat SuperSport, hopefully, and close that gap and go to what? 32 points. And somehow SuperSport will drop points because they are not winning all 10 games, but the same can be said about Chiefs. So we're close enough to still dream and say, oh, we can make it to African football. But the problem is, can we? So in that case, they won't want to experiment because they will feel like playing with these young kids. To them, it's perceived, to the sponsors and to the club in general, as, oh yeah, we've given up on the season, so we're now just giving the chance to the kids because the season is pointless anyway. I'm going to go down to your comments, but the other person that I don't think anyone in the chat will really disagree with me when I say this, Sfiso Atlantis contract is also coming to an end. I'm trying to run a poll and see if I can do it. Can I? Nope, I cannot. I cannot run a poll in my own channel on my, yeah, it's fine. I can't do a poll here unless I get a on my laptop. Anyways, so Usfiso Atlanti is another player who's leaving. I don't think I have to say much on that one, because to me it's clear Uti Ushland is just one of those players that I look at and I say, if they keep him, why? Like why? Yabon. So it's that thing, Uti, why? So I'm going to make a poll right now, and I'm busy with it, so bear with me in a second. So I'm writing a poll, Uti, who will leave. So for one, we have Khune. Number two, we have Udove. I'm not saying who should leave, who will leave. We have Ungobo. And then we have Udove. We have Uhlanti. After Uhlanti, those are the four. I wanna see Guti, what are you gonna say about these four that I've mentioned for starters? You can start voting on the poll. Guti, from those four players that I've put up there, who's most likely to leave Chiefs, and why? Then you can compare. So Kubega nama comments is le billion Guti. I mean, I agree with you, and I made a video on Saturday where I was talking about this thing, Guti. Right now, it's time to just play the young players at this point. Personally, I just think that makes more sense to just say, yeah, just play the young players. It's pointless for me because they play better in any case. It's not like we're experimenting. A comment that I'm seeing eventually played Yoguti. Look at what Liverpool has been doing with their young players, and also Man United, who have been losing to everyone. And look at who they used to win. They used Amad Diallo to win them a game against Liverpool. So young players are definitely there. Like one of the shining stars of this season, as much as I hate his team and don't like him in particular, is Alejandro Garnacho. Right? He's also from a youth development system. Another player who's shining at Man City, Phil Foden. You understand ukuthi Umainu at United. So there are a lot of these young players who are really, really excelling. And the Chiefs is not trusting young players for some reason. So Dove, Hlanti, I think we're all clear. And the other player who's also that I'm not going to talk about that much, which I'm sad to see, Guti, he only played one game that I remember this season, and that is Usiathemba Stebe. I heard something about him, which has not been confirmed. So the way that things are happening, ngati there was some misconduct, but I hope it's not true. But even if it's not true, you look at him, Guti, he's been frozen out, and Uabona Velugutu Stebe is not being played at all. Like I don't remember the last time I even saw him on a bench. So in the Stebe Vele, he's just done with the Chiefs. He's really, really done. And the last player before Abantuba comment Vele so that I can engage fully with you. The last two players is Umatlou no Gonzalez. With Umatlou, I think it depends on his injury and where the Chiefs are going to buy a number 10. Because if they are, then they might let Umatlou go. But he has had a there and there season. In fact, some people came to me and said, who has had a better season, Matlou, or if people say has Matlou or Itumeleng Khune had a better season, I think it's very tight, eh? It's very tight because Matlou has shown his physicality, has also fought for the team. He has done good enough. But then you look at Umshinina, he's just there and he scored a goal and it just disappears. We end up bringing back Umtanzane. So Kwayena, it's shaking. But another person who I'm sure Uguti, a lot of people will not even disagree is Uguti. If I say that Gonzalez, is he leaving or staying? Everyone will say Gonzalez is going. And I see Uguti, out of the 18 votes that people who have voted are saying that Utland is going. When doing I won't comment yako, I wanted to add to Sabelo Hatebe, but I decided Uguti, for this video I wanted to leave him out because I just wanted to focus on the players whose contracts are ending. Because Wayana Velu Sabelo Hatebe, as a side note, he's actually not playing for the Chiefs at all this season. He's only played once and he's been labeled as a youngster for far too long. So I'm going to close the poll in a minute. Velu Hlandi seems like he's winning. A lot of people are saying that. Let me read another comment. Undu Ayanda is saying Chiefs should give a coach a checkbook and be one who release players. But Gonzalez, Kunika, Hlanti should go. I don't think he's going anywhere, Kunika. Sorry to paste your bubble. But that one, Kunika, you know with Kunika, the management let him go. And when he started shining at Stellenbosch, they felt like they made a mistake. So they brought him back. After bringing him back, they see Uguti, there's change in coaching and they trust him. So now they would feel like, to them, not to me, they would feel like letting go of Ukunika right now seems like they let go of a player, then signed him back, only for him to prove them good they were right for letting him go in the first place. So what they need from Ukunika right now, look at how long his contract is. Yabon. So the fact that contract tag is not coming to an end as the other people abafika kanye naye Matlou, Hlanti, Stebe, it tells you they have more confidence in him. In fact, if I just confirm, if you give me a second, you will see ukuthi I contract yalabantu abaningi afika nabo who's this guy Ukunika. Most of those contracts are running out now. Yet his contract is not running out in June, which means from the start, Vele, they had more hopes. Uguti is the one who could actually come in and do something. So we are born a very good now. This is different, and releasing him would feel stupid and would make them feel like they are not smart people. So I contract Kunika, I believe would expire, and he's just one player whose contract is not clear when it expires. So yeah, I think it's probably next year because they trust him more. Kenyans 247 is saying great content, mate. See you next time. Alright, danko bro, danko. Uzamekaya is saying Kaizer Kaizer Chiefs players are just there for money, guys, instead of playing for the patch. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that, but I could also disagree. So Uhlanti, most people are saying Uhlanti is the one who's going. So I'm ending this poll. And then the next comments is coming from Utabang, who's saying Dove should be kept. According to me, he's giving us way better than Tiklokwe, and left back, center back are not easy to find. That is true. Left-footed center back, I get what you're saying, are not easy to find. I get you. And Tiklokwe, a lot of people have questioned him. In any case, he came from SuperSport, not a team that is known for playing the ball from the back. And that is why you always see they are safe and back to Peterson. While Udove, some people can't digest this properly, because Udove gets the ball, he tries to play a pass through the middle, and sometimes it gets blocked, and people don't like that. Yet they don't like when we go back to the keeper. Yet when Udove tries passes that are going forward and they get intercepted, people are blaming him. So bafuna nabantu, bafuna uTitloko zophasa ibhola emuva, or bafuna Udove, who, if you give him 10 chances to try and pass forward passes, 6 or 7 out of 10 of those passes will go through, but 3 will be lost and then we're at risk. So the question is, would you rather I go back to the keeper 10 times, or would you rather I go forward 10 times and risk a mistake 3 of those times, or I go back to the keeper and then invite the press even deeper to our half? It's up to you. It's up to you to decide. The next comment is Nondumiso, who's saying Shanti is it's lunch bar ukuthi kumele hambe. And then Bublade is saying, don't underestimate the youth. Remember what Man United did to Liverpool. Boo-hoo. Mr. Sabisa, but yeah, I get your point. Mr. Sabisa is saying, Pro Shanti must go. That guy no longer has interest in play. And Ushanti, I said this in the other game, Guti. Ushanti is such a good footballer. Like, Yawon Ushanti, he is one of the most technically gifted defenders I know. Yet he just doesn't show any interest. And that's the problem. Not to Guti Nkom. Like, Yabona, I'm saying this and I keep on saying it. Ushanti Nkom. Ushanti is not Nkomo. He is just a player who doesn't look interested in playing. That's the only thing I'm shy of. And then we equate, or we say ungafuni kwakhe, not showing interest in playing, we say inkomo. No, akasi inkomo. If umuwazi umuntu odlala ibhola uyambona Uhlanti uyalazi ibhola unje akafuni. That's the problem. Ublade usayincomela okhobi bakhe baku United, and then Ublade is saying George ngeke mfowethu, we can't let him go. That is what I'm saying. I would be interested to see what they will do with Umatlo. I will be interested ukuthi ngempela bazokwenza njani. Undu Ayanda is saying another player you are forgetting is Sabelo Hadebe, or I've already talked about him. Ublade is saying umshini muphi, the chubby one. And umshini beno Hlanti, I actually categorize them in the same category. Categorize them in the same area. I don't even know how to say that, because both of them good footballers, but you just see a lot of laziness in them, or lack of interest from Hlanti and lack of fight from Umshini, which is what Umatlo then does when he plays. And under a good coach, Umatlo would shine. Umatlo under a good coach would even bench Umshini. That's not me saying Umatlo is better than Umshini. That's me saying the intensity at which Umatlo plays with, and also his own ability, you can then end up seeing Umatlo looking better than Umshini, because he will do more, basically. Mr. Sabisa is saying, I think Matlo can be better as a number 8 rather than being a number 8, rather than being a number 10. True, yabona enye into ukuthi ke isystem esesiyidlala manje le 4-2-3-1, and the 4-2-3-1 inama 6 out 2, and then besiba ne 10. And because of that vele, most of the times ugcina uthola ukuthi you end up finding out that we are playing 2 sitting midfielders, and then you are playing only one person who's going forward. Played saying Zita, he's always screaming to other players. Njengo Bruno. Ngibona comment kaThando la uthi uPlayed Sifiso akayona inkomo, he's just lazy. Undu is saying I think also Mart Nandi Mart Shanti, even Frosler have become complacent. I think it's time they do not. I think it's like they do not want to play. A coach will now coach Chiefs needs to have a strong character. You know, I agree. I agree with you in part, ne? In a sense that the other two players that you counted, Ushanti, ne? Even if Frosler Ikemiak has dropped, one player that I will always say, technically, Umart is not better than Castillo, but Umart will still fight more than Castillo. Yawana guys, the Umart I think is one of the most unjustifiably hated player, mainly because of the fact that the fans look at him consistently appearing and they say he's the one who's always playing, as such, he's the one who's causing the team. But he's not. Like, he's really not. And Ofrosla igame yabisivele ehlanje. Ushanti gets clear right as day ukuthi nah fam, this is not it. Bongile is saying George is a good player. No question about that. No question about that. Ray Shandis, which is Utando, is saying Pilo, Matlow, and Solomons must go. Vela when you never rated them. Ngiyakwazi ayikho nento engayichaza ngabo ngizame because ngiyazi uSolomons awumfuni umntana abantu angazi wakwenzani futhi wena Uthando once had a long tweet after Chiefs lost against Himmelford. The man tweeted to good everyone must leave. He's like, even you've been here for so long, you must go. So yeah, and then Messi was saying, did you know that Matlow used to be a CM and CDM before he became number 10 because of his creativity? Then play him as a CM, play him as a number 8. You are agreeing with what the other person was saying earlier on. Who was saying that, Vel? I can't find that comment now. I can't find the comment. Oh, Mr. Sabisa was saying the same thing, Guti. Because in the enkulu isekutheni who's playing Umatlo, if he's playing as a 10, then where is he getting the ball from? So he has to be deeper, because also another thing that it does is that since he's tall and has a big stature, he can receive the ball 10, right? Because he can protect the ball better than Abo Castillo sometimes, who get too complacent. And even if he loses the ball, sometimes he fights for the ball back and all of that stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if you go out and get another number 10, because that's the thing. Now ngokuthatha usezobhala list. Sikulindile. Undu is saying ngifundile ilokhunja kakandu. Ureishan is saying in support of the mass exodus, as long as we will get good quality replacement plus good quality technical team. Yabona indaba ihlezi lapho vele ukuthi if you are going to release 10 players, then next year you shouldn't release 10 more players. Rather release 20 this season, which sounds stupid, but if you release 20 players this season, then the players that you are going to sign, let's say you're replacing them with 10 or 15 good players, then those players that you are bringing in, they must not hit the ground running, but they must also be well coached. Because what's the point of bringing in good players and still having a bad technical team? Which I think is our main problem. Well, our main problem is the management, then the coaching, then the players. If you fix the management, then the management will make good decisions or better decisions in hiring better coaches. And because of that, those coaches will recruit better players. I think it's simple like that. It just funnels down. But if you have everything bad on top, then going down, everything is now looking nonsensical. Mr. Sabisa retracted his statement. Benotando, who played is saying Rainford to George and Solomon's bane energy, my guy. Ungazami. Uyabona mawuzozama ukutshela uthando ngoSolomons angagibela ibhano yeze lapha eAmerica kuwe played azokushaya, because I do not know someone who doesn't like Solomons this much. Because umntana abantu uyazama, but uthanda uzokutshela uzothi yey uyagijima nje. And the other day they actually injured to Solomons, and then umntana abantu goes down. Uthando is like, there is Solomons faking an injury. I'm like, to what end? Undu Anna is saying Mshini is special, yet Matlo is good. I think they are failing to align him to his comfort zone. They must play him as a number 10 and have players near to him. You will see him click. You know, one of the things, there's this video, and I've been saying this thing. One of the challenges about Mshini is the fact that he's a traditional number 10. What do I mean by traditional number 10? You know those star players, kona those players ebekwazi ukuthi akamake teamini, uneimbongolo zakhe ezomake emva kwakhe, everyone will mark. When we get the ball, it's like Messi. Messi is the only remaining players who can sort of play as a 10 ongamaki. But the rest of them, they've all faded away, because it just doesn't work like that anymore. You cannot have a player who doesn't track back in your team. And Mshini now is still that player or is star player, and it doesn't work. Because even about Tembazwane, they track back, and Ubuga with Tembazwane how big he is, and yet he's tracking back. You go overseas, about De Bruyne by a move, and Velu De Bruyne is played more as an 8 than a 10. The system Guardiola doesn't play with 10. The last time I remember Guardiola playing a 10 was when he was playing at Bayern. And also it wasn't really a 10. It was Kimmich, Thiago, then in front of them Muller. Muller just knows how to manipulate space, and Guardiola is so big in players manipulating space, finding space, doing this and that with space. So it worked for him to do that. That is why it was also like someone behind Lewandowski to connect with Lewandowski with him. It wasn't necessarily someone who's creative, like specific nje into zoyenza is to pass killer passes to Lewandowski, but it was to find spaces, and once you're in those spaces you can play the right passes wide or to Lewandowski. Messi is saying mercy ngobo lenda bakatoli. I think they brought him back before he tried to regain his strength, since we were complaining that he came back overweight njengoba wabuya egqoke ibandage. Babenzani? Angithi nje le nkinga umbuyiselana umuntu engakabi fully fit. Phela umdlali ngeke mfethu ubuye kwi-injury ka 9 months or wahamba ngoMay, June, July, August, September, October. Umbuyisa after 5 months onzomdlalisa. That was a stupid decision by Chiefs, by management, whoever decided to play him, because you cannot tell me that you are going to play a guy who has not been available for that long, and then umdlale straight up. Doesn't make any sense to me. Because Wachi Walimala once again, and now they don't know what to do. Who played is laughing. And then Mr. Sabisa is saying, Matlo, what a lovely player. I really see him as a number 8 and playing Khosi Mpilo as a 10. Then we'll be able to create enough chances. That is true, because there is a lot of creativity in midfield. But also, if you're looking at Matlo himself and his aggression and his ability just on the ball, then you are kind of solving two problems, or what? Hitting two birds with one stone, because you have creativity in Matlo as an 8, but at the same time he can fight going back, and then at the same time you also have Mshini who's going to create going forward. We'll see the next coach. Sibonga Wonke is bursting my bubble, saying Chiefs won't beat Super Sport. I was talking in the spirit of being hopeful. This is not reality. You must remember, Guti, in this video live streams, especially if they are this long, like we've been on for 39 minutes, we're not just talking about whatever. We are also viewing things from Kaizer Chiefs' point of view, which is they are hoping to beat Super Sport and close the gap, which might not happen. Auba Antulibas is saying, I think all the defender, excluding Msimango, Frosla, Solomons, Dove, and the rest must go. We are not a defender. Utando is saying the following players should leave. Khune, yeah, we've agreed on Khune. Shanti, agreed. Stebe, agreed. Potsane. You know Ega Potsane trick. Ega Potsane is very tricky for me. Because they are also not including him in match day squads, and now he's just seen kuma activations ikphela. So Ega Potsane, I'm not sure about it, because when the season started, him, Modi and Dupree were combining really well. Although I will say what I didn't like about three of them playing at the same time is because it seemed like it was just pace, and it became predictable. Next player is Uratebe on loan. Even if he leaves Uratebe at this point, because clearly they don't want to play him. Even if he leaves, I wouldn't mind. Because he needs to start playing. Unless na ifuna ukuyidlalela imali. Utoli 1.4 million per month. Reportedly, that's a lot of money. And we could pay 3 people with that amount. So I don't necessarily disagree with that one. Ungobo. Nkosi ngiphile nomunjabul. If you are talking about Unjabul, I've already addressed in the backwards. If Chiefs offer him money, he will stay. If they don't offer him money, he won't stay. He will leave. Mtansane. Akamtatsana ayike ngiyakuphikisa ngiyaphika kaMtatsane. Umashiyane on loan. Umashiyane nje, this is the time. Makhamba uHlanti, you said Hlanti must leave, right? So you said Hlanti must leave. So then who's gonna be that left back if Chiefs see a time sign left back? So I'm not sure about Mashiane. Gonzalez, yes. Saile, nalapho ngiyakuphikisa ke lapho. Saile needs coaching. Usaile doesn't think, but he needs coaching. Like I've seen a lot of players, like there are top players like who need coaching, who are seen as what's this thing? Road runners, but they get a better coach and then they start performing. So I don't think Usaile should leave, mina personally. Uyaqhubeka Ray Shandis. Ukuthi Ray Shandis wani ngabe uthando nala. I would keep the 2 players, Matlo and Solomons, for one more season to see them under a new good coach. Finally, oh my God, we need to clip this. Sorry, Lord, for using your name in vain. I need to clip this around 42 minutes. 08 seconds. I need to highlight Uguti. I need to clip this video and go show everyone on Twitter Uguti finally Utando has come to his senses. Uguti, he knows Uguti we need to Solomons no Matlo for one more season. I'm gonna clip that, or clip it for me while you edit. Undu Nyanda. Maybe I will see what you guys are seeing. Yeah, Uzobona. These are decent players. Undu Ayanda is saying play Zwane Mtetwa. Zwane is a 6. Oh wait. Mtetwa is a 6. Zwane and Mshini. Then tell Chivaviro to be in the box. I think it will be better. You know what? Undu? This is one thing that confuses me. Every single Kaizer Chiefs fan sees Uguti it's not good for Uranga to be outside of the box. Yet all the coaches that have played Uranga, be it Unsegi or Johnson, they all think he should drop and play as a 10 and be a false 9. And I know there are people who will say, you are not a coach, you are not qualified, why are you questioning coaches? I would not be questioning coaches if Chivaviro was effective as a false 9. But he's not effective as a false 9. So then I have to question the coach for playing him as a 10. Or as a false 9, because if you're playing as a false 9 and he's not scoring, clearly your tactics are not working. Leaving him in the box, see what it does for you. Whenever we've seen him in the box, he has done some damage, or tried at least if he's close enough to the box, gotten some saves out of the keepers. Tando is saying the whole technical team must leave, no negotiations plus the SD. No, lapha ngikuphikisa. I made a video vele talking about that whole thing ukuthi abo SD kumele barane business bakhohlwe i-team. You know what's funny is I know ukuthi some people at Chiefs bayawabuka lama video, and I'm sure I'm hated. I'm even scared of going to Naturen. I don't think I will come out alive. Who played this thing? Ray Shandis, the Victor must stand uqina. Exactly. Lona ngamnini akumele uyohlala endlini kaThando. Into ona uThando joke Victor fast. Ayibo guys, unsubscribe and ayibo one like any video. Ayibo. You can also become a member of the channel. Yeah. Click the link and it's only 20 rands per month. On the next live stream, I will start doing a shout out to people. Go to the channel, click join. It's only 20 rands per month. kuyasiza lezi zinto lezi, because I rejected a sponsor. Someone was trying to, side note, someone was trying to sponsor the video, but then they were a bit shady. And I was like, I will not advertise something that I'm not sure about on my channel. And then it kept quiet and they didn't get back to me. So memberships are not helping the channel somewhat. The NH. Malia Paul Pumala office. Anyways, asikho lapho. Usibonga konke Hlatshwa is saying, but we should not lie to ourselves. We are not Liverpool or Real Madrid. We should stop comparing ourselves to those clubs because we don't have a recovery strategy. You know why I'm saying we can compare ourselves to Liverpool, not Madrid, Barcelona? Because funny enough, Real Madrid, in terms of their young stars shining at the senior team, were similar to them, because usually they end up just going away, and that's what usually happens with Madrid. But with the Chiefs, we've had a system kind of Barcelona early in the 2000s where we're promoting players to the senior team, and they've done a good job. But then later on, we've become like Madrid, because now the players are not shining and they end up being released. So it's a weird thing. We can learn from them. Obviously, there's a huge gap, but you can learn from them. And I don't think that it also helps if we just say, they are too far from us. Like, look at Pep Light. Sorry. Look at Rulani Mkoena. He's imitating Guardiola, and you can see in how his team is playing. I'm not saying it's wrong to imitate Guardiola. I mean, everyone imitates Guardiola. Like, everybody imitates Guardiola. Who started the whole thing of playing false nine? Pep. And guess what? Everyone else joined the false nine regime. Now Pep has started playing inverted fullbacks. Everyone inverted fullbacks. And then Pep started playing 4 center backs. Look at Arteta now. He's playing Kiwi on left back, White on right back. So everyone is just copying him now. So what I'm trying to say is everyone copies him. So we can't be saying that it's wrong to necessarily look abroad. But I get it. If we're too excessive and not measuring it, then we might be in trouble. Messi was saying, I'm really scared of what Stellenbosch will do to us since they defeated Milford with more than 5 goals. Funny how we're hoping the Chiefs was going to defeat them with a similar score. And it is half of his Oguti. We saw Sundowns and Pirates beating their opponents by 5 goals and 6 goals, and we're like, we should do the same, did we? Of course not. Mr. Sabisa is saying, I'm asking myself whether our coach see all what we are talking about now. That guy is very scared of other teams. I do not understand why he approaches games with such defensive style. I gave up on Johnson in the first dab when he played Khune as a right back. I was like, I'm done. And people were like, give him a chance. I'm like, I am done. I have seen this before. I'm familiar with this game. This does not end well. So, uyikwala shem. Angifuni ukukhohlisa mntakama. Uyikwala elikhulu. Even if they saw it, yabona mina vele ngizonitshela. One of the biggest problems with being on YouTube, and people just think you are making content for views and whatnot. Views are very important. Don't get me wrong. But I actually like football. I don't like football. I love football. I live football. I look at football. It's that I have 2 things that make me happy in life. Well, maybe 3 if you add family there and maybe my job at times. But the 2 most important things to me that make me happy, it's God and it's football. In that order, everything else follows. So I look at football. I am a student of the game, and I'm going to get coaching licenses so that people don't just dismiss opinions and say, you are just a YouTuber. Because it's a lazy ball, and we study football. We can see, Uti, this works, this does not work. If you are being too defensive, you're going to lose. Bese go coach bastata kancane. Untasingana. Undu is saying Ranga is a box striker who relies on supply like Shalulile, Hropla, Nukovic, etc. We need a good coach with also conditioning and striker coach. Yeah, we've been singing that song. Maybe kumele sitshele uThando, nangu uThando phela uyi-influencer lapha ku Twitter. Kumele simtshele. Kumele siqale manje I agenda what's this thing? we must start a new agenda. The agenda of a striker coach. Yeah, I wonder if we can push that agenda. That's an important agenda. Because about to prepare Abafwetu. They are missing way too many chances. So maybe, just maybe, if we can put the team under pressure to say, you see your strikers are missing chances, get someone who's going to help them. You see the players sometimes look like they're unfit. Get someone who's going to help them with conditioning. Played ngifunda ama comments okugcina manje bahlekana benoRay, and then uShandi uThando is saying, "Pilo, you are doing a very good job, my brother. The consistency in dropping content is amazing." Yeah, funny enough, I have to record videos. I won't have a live stream on Thursday. Yeah, someone we are lobola on Thursday, so I'm going to his malobolo negotiations or whatever. Yeah, remember, so na malobolo. So I'm going, I'm invited. So that means tomorrow I'm traveling, and then Thursday ngagla malobolo. So I'm going to have right now to record videos for the next 5 days or so. That's a lot. Anyways, moving right along. Thank you. Ume Singobo is saying, did you actually say Pep Light? Aksimo Asholok. Well, Capitano. Facebook, Twitter, Mina. I'm just copying. Ureshan is saying, do we need rebuilding at Kaizer Chiefs? Obviously, with a good technical team. Also, do you think we're a patient fan base for that? No, we're not a patient fan base. You cannot ever in your life say to a Kaizer Chiefs fan, we are rebuilding. You can never. They can't accept it, because the longer we stay like this, we're never a patient fan base even when we're winning. How much more now that we're losing? Like, I don't think we're a patient fan base to wait and say, oh yeah, we're gonna rebuild, give the team 3 more years. No. Even if you look at Klopp, one of the greatest stories of rebuilding, came to a very bad team. 2016, all of a sudden, he's taking them to a Europa League. He's making them qualify. There was immediate change. And even when they lost in that final year Europa League, they then come back the following season. They are now playing in the Champions League. They lose in the finals. Or the problem was careers. They get Alisson. Then they win the following Champions League. Then they win the league. There were steps, clear steps. Which Chiefs are born loot. Agna improvement. And that's what's upsetting. I think the fan base can get behind the we are rebuilding thing if we started seeing certain things improve. Like, okay, our football is now much better. Okay, so we can be patient with the coach. Okay, now we're scoring more goals. We're conceding way fewer goals. But Lana, it's still mad football. And you can't say it's getting better, because it's not. Usbonga Gonghlachayo is saying Pep Light failed at Pirates. He would fail at Chiefs. Undu is saying Kwinika might have a coach's notes. Angazi, why did I just say that? Some of my students watched this thing and I laughed. Anyways, coaching post is still available at Chiefs. Coach CJ is a caretaker. Yeah, I know. Chiva Vero, UFC material. But the thing is, he was playing for the other team. The other team. So I'm going to read the last comment will be Tabang Sekobane, because yeah, we've been live for way too long. Usbonga Wonke is saying Chiefs needs Nabi because Nabi has a strategy. Look at Yanga and fitness. Inkinga. Hi, Ingaki. Inkinga Pelenkulu with Nabi is that he would want to bring his own people. And we know how Chiefs felt about that in the first place. So, yeah. Dietitian etingakayo kyafana i-dietitian ayibagada abantu izobatshela ukuthi dlanini lento nekudla amagwinya bazothi wasibhedela lo uzobona uzothi uhlangana nomshini lapha kwamayemaye udla amanqina namagwinya then uthawu lomchita lona i-dietitian lapha ithe hey anika ama carbs dlala ngomshini wena. Ureshan is saying at Chiefs we need a goalkeeper coach, a defensive coach, a left back a left back coach. We need a left back coach, a midfielder coach, a striker coach, and a coach to coach the head coach. Hey, the technical team would be stacked, like from a goalkeeper coach, defensive coach, left back coach, midfield coach. And then Richard is mistakes. Nabi must not come. That team disrespected him after he left Yanga for them. That is so true because the man was leaving his team and these men just thought, you know what, we're not doing this anymore with you. So yeah, last comment is Utabangu saying, I'm worried about who's going to be our next coach. I no longer trust this club. It can shock you with its shady dealings. They've been copying Man United all along. I mean, it's been Kaizer and Kaizer. Oh, it does rhyme. Look at you. You came up with that. That's very good. Kaizer United ne Kaizer Chiefs. Now guys, if you haven't liked the video, like the video, share the video. We had a good one. I will see you on the next live stream, which is most likely going to be next week, Tuesday, because, oh no, or 2 weeks from now. Wait, it can't be 2 weeks from now either because the team is playing 2 weeks from now. So yeah, I'm going to see you. I will tell you when the next live stream is because I'm going to be home and Wi-Fi. But I'll still be dropping content. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.